Shalom. Okay, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash. Okay, double honors to our apostles of Great Millstone, our elders of GMS. Okay, and salutations and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the children of Israel, people of Negro, Latino, Native American, and Seminole Indian descent, Israelite foreigners as well, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and scattered amongst the heathen nations that may look like the heathen nations, will have the spirit of an Israelite. You are the women that's humble yourself as well to escape the pollutions of this word, of this world. It's like it. Right. So I like how this scripture in Esther begins, and it's kind of like debunks that January 1st is the New Year's, which the ways of the world is totally backwards and upside down. And leading you astray. You know, the ways of this world will lead you astray from the true path of Yahweh Shem Yahushai by following it. But so you find yourself purging yourself of that old man, which is the ways of the world, and becoming that new man. And that's a mental thing. That's a mind thing. That's you're pretty much trashing everything you learned in the world before the truth. You're trashing it, and you're coming back into this with a humbling spirit on a blank sheet of paper in all reality. But even though this thing may already be in us and it's reminding us of us, but these, we're learning and reading these scriptures and becoming a new man. And part of that becoming a new man is we're learning about the ancient customs and heritage of our nation, the true Israelites. The true Israelites, and which isn't the Israelis of today's world, which this chapter of Esther 9 goes into what's called Purim, which was a custom that we observed daily. Which, when you read the story, which originate us being delivered from our enemies. All right. And that it brings to mind that in the kingdom of heaven, when it's established, there's going to be a new day of observance. For example, like the Passover, which is coming next month. There's going to be a new one, from us being delivered up out of Babylon and delivered up out of the hands of our enemy, Esau, Edom, around the world. All right, but look at how this starts, though. 9-1 now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar. Now let's go into that. Adar, which is that we're in that month now. Adar, the last month of the season. All right. And again, it's not January 1st. And everything about this world is about rituals. And I've went in it before. I put a video before about Janus, which the world is, that December 31st going into January 1st is in celebration of Janus, another idol of another false god, but Adar, this is just plain and simple. Adar, glorious, or 12th month, corresponding to modern March or April, but it's according to the new moon. All right. And counting back, you will see that this is the 12th month, which they're almost correct, but almost doesn't make it right. Unless the, and then again, we don't know what actual times we're in. This devil done screwed up the times so much that we're pretty much going with the spirit and faith. We're being led by faith. And so here we are in the 12th month, which is we're in February 17th. Okay, so and I find that interesting. This devil knows a lot, and he'll point you in the right direction, but he won't give you the correct truth. This is the 12th month. And the Passover, and hold up, let me do that. Let me see what it gives me here. I might have to do some quick reading. Oh, just to find what I'm looking for. Quick reading and some quick scanning. Okay, it is the Lord's Passover, which is Exodus 12. I find 12 is interesting for that same chapter. So it's at number 12. Interesting. Okay, let's see what it gives me here. And we sent to Moses in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year. Ooh, of the year to you. There you go. So with Passover being next month, and it's well into the month, because the new moon is the new moon is let me see here. Give me a second here. March 9th. That's the next new moon. It's March 9th. From that point afterwards, where it goes into, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. And I think it's 14 days. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going off memory here. Speak ye unto the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of his souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year, and ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. So there you go. But my point was putting a stamp on the time periods, which again, the Passover is the beginning of the year. All right. And it's 14 days into the new year. Okay. So again, that first month, the real New Year's, the first month of the year is March 9th. Okay. It's March 9th. Okay. And that kind of raises a question on how do IUIC come up with theirs Passover? It's according to Amalek's, because they're into that Friday sundown and Saturday sundown all year long, every week, which isn't biblical in the least bit. But this month is kind of funny how, not funny, but it's kind of ironic how this last month of the year has fallen on Friday sundown and Saturday sundown. All right, so my point is made there. So here we are into the 12th month. Okay, we're in that 12th month now. Okay, well into the 12th month, because last week was the new moon. If I'm correct, was it last week? Well, yeah, February 9th was the beginning of the 12th month of the year. Slacking on my stumbling speech. All right, so let's just run through this and find out what Purim is, if I'm correct in saying it correctly. Purim, which is actually pronounced in the Hebrew
Strong's H6332. Poor.
Peace. a special feast amongst post-exilic Jews to celebrate their deliverance from Haman's, because he wanted to destroy all the children of Israel. All. Haman's destruction through Queen Esther's heroic action. And they're making it sound like Queen Esther picked up a sword. Let's just go again. Let's just run through this. Okay, now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, the end of the year, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution, the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to their power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people, and all the rulers of the province and the lieutenants and the deputies and the officers of the king helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughtered in destruction, and did what they would have unto those that hated them. And in Shushan the palace the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. In Parshandatha and Dalphon, and Aspatha, and Paratha, and Adalia, and Aridatha, and Parmashta, and Irashai, and Aridai, and Vajazatha, the 10 sons of Haman, the sons of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand. Okay? And on that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan, the palace, was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther, the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan, the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's province? Now what is thy petition, and it shall be granted thee? Or what is thy request further, and it shall be done? Then said Esther, if it please the Most High, slack it. Then said, I'm constantly saying that in my prayers a lot. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And they're talking about the heroic actions of Esther. I mean, she was in her right mind, and she was in order, and she didn't lift no sword and was out there battling. That's how they make it sound. You know. So it says here, and the kings commanded it so to be done, and the decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together with the 14th day also of the month, Adar, and slew 300 men of Shushan, but on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives, and had rest from their enemies, and slew of their foes 70 and 5,000, but they laid not their hands on the prey. On the 14th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested they, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. You know, not like the modern day heathens, those small hats. They put on costumes of all sorts of demonic manner, demons parading the streets, you know, all totally out of order, man. It's just more and more of these people come out and show who they are, with them pretending to be or who we are, these identity thieves, the more and more they rehearse these things, the more and more you're seeing that they're not the people. I mean, you don't have to be an expert in the scriptures to know how women should be, heads should be covered, should be wearing modest apparel, and as far as those demonic symbols which they're constantly throwing up, and the wicked evil practices. They have a practice where they got the ears of Haman. They make cookies. They make cookies in the shape of the ears of Haman, and they eat them like really. Some foul people, man. I mean, literally, they're not the people, and the world is starting to see that now. That's a video on its own itself. That's a very good video to make. I should go into it later. And it's easy to prove that they're not the people. Just signs and things to look for. Clear, obvious signs to look for to show you that, just visualizing certain things, you can see that they're not the people. Clear, obvious signs, For example, like wars in the world. If they're the people, then why are there still wars in the world? Okay. But anyway, let me get back into this with a day of feasting and gladness. Okay. But the Jews that were in Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th thereof, and on the 15th day of the same they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore, the Jews of the village that dwelt in the unwallowed towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another. Okay, here we go. The Feast of Purim instituted, and Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far. And let me do this real quick. I wanted to just see what the names mean. Mordecai.
Strong's H 4782. Mordechai. Mordechai.
And it has here a little man, a worshiper of Mars. Israelites don't worship no Mars unless they going to hell off. Cousin and adopted father of Queen Esther, son of Jar of the tribe of Benjamin, deliverer under divine providence of the children of Israel from the destruction plotted by Haman, the chief minister of Ahasuerus, institutor of the Feast of Purim, a Jew who returned from exile with Zerubbabel. Okay. Oh, sorry, let me do this. No, that's okay. Let me continue on. To establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly. And remember, now the scripture says that we're to seek out, let me see. Come on. Let me see this. You've read the scripture in a minute. We'll use it in a minute. The old path is old path, old ways. Paths. It's paths. Plural. Is it in Jeremiah or Job? Jeremiah. And there's something in Jeremiah and Job as well. Or I might have to go to my notes. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and seek and see and ask for the old paths, where's the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said we will not walk therein. So we're commanded to seek the old paths, which is the good way. Okay? And let me do this. And like the scripture says, you, as far as knocking, looking, searching for the answers, he'll answer. Let's see if I can find it. Give me a second here. Book of Matthews. Matthew 7:7. Ask, and it's red letters. When you go to your book, your Bible itself, and it's in red letters, the Lord speaking himself, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. And you can't. I'm using my experience only. I'm familiar with it. I've heard brothers mention it, but it's all about growth. You're growing in this thing, and here I am observing it now. You know, and like I said, it's all about growth, and ain't no shame in admitting that. Because we don't know it all. Which we know it all. As far as these scriptures are concerned, we're growing, and again, we're trying to rehearse the righteous acts, to our fullest ability, and we're not, and it's pride that, you can't admit that, and that's a horrible demon to have on you, a prideful demon, This is all about becoming that new man. It's all about you're growing in this, all right? So again, the scripture says, seek. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the way and see and ask for the old paths, and that's part of it. Asking Matthew 7:7, where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. And that's the spirit of these niggas now. We're not no Israelites. We're all one people. The madness they vomit out, the foolish madness they vomit out. Jeremiah 6:16. Let me see what I have in there. If I have something else. Okay, so I do. I'm not sure if there's something under notes. Oh, it's giving me 32:7. Jeremiah 32:7. Just like, oh man, I know I said. Oh, come on. I think Jeremiah 32:7 is going through an actual. Oh, okay, Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Remember the days of old, and what the scripture says. These things is being brought to our remembrance. We're starting to remember our old heritage. Our old customs. Remember the days of old.
Strong's
Oh,
H2142.
that's kind of loud.
Zacher. Zacher.
Remember to recall, call to mind, to remember, to be brought to remembrance. There it is. Let me hit that. Copy. Brought to remembrance. Like being reminded of something. But I don't see the word being reminded. Just a mention to mail, earnestly by mail, make mention, be mindful, recount. Remember. Okay. I can hit this word in here. And I can always come back. Okay, remembrance. And it's in. Here we go, 2 Peter 3:1. This second epistle, beloved. And this 2 Peter 3:1 is the one I always remember. The whole precept. The second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance. And that's what we're doing with these videos. 2 Peter 1:13. Yea, I think it meet, as long as I am in this tabernacle, to stir you up by putting you in remembrance. Okay. So let me finish reading the scriptures. Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. So I find myself going into the book of Esther. Okay? To help bring some remembrance to your mind. Okay, so it says here, what I stopped at 22, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another and gifts to the poor. So that's how you know when we through this great deliverance, when Yahushua come and deliver the elect, there's going to be a new celebration, and a new another day of feasting and joy. And we're going to get down. Oh man, in that kingdom, we're going to get down. Oh man, just think about it. Just think about it when this nightmare is over with, and our enemy, Esau, Edom, is catching pure hell. He is in the midst of his receiving righteous judgment, which is going to be pure hell on this devil. We're going to be, again, what it says, in a period of joy and feasting, And the Jews undertook today as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and has cast pur, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter and of that which they have seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined together themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they will keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time of time every year, and that though these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family. Let me start again at verse 28, and that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perished from their seed. And Esther the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Jew wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim, and he sent the letters unto all the Jews to the 127 province of the kingdom of Ahasuerus with words of peace and truth to confirm these days of Purim and these times appointed according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had appointed them, and as they had declared for themselves and for their seed the matter of the fasting and their cry. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book. So what did it say again? Let me go back. And this day falls, it's like, let me get it right. Okay, let me pull up my calendar. This is my calendar. Oh, I have it listed, but 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So Friday of next week, the 23rd, and Saturday, the 24th. Remember? Okay, remember the 14th and the 15th day. You know, of feasting and gladness, then rest. Then rest. Which is a Sabbath. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Remember that. This is beautiful. So very interesting chapter here. So I hope you're edified. Okay, till next time, Lord willing, shalom.